Okay, now we're going to look at the blending mode of Darken. And so what we're going to do with that, same steps, I'm just going to go through with you again of placing embedded rather than just opening an image. You're going to go place embedded. I've got my several options, so I'm going to go with a different one here. I'm going to do the palm pattern. I'm going to click place. It's a little bit small, so I'm going to make it big enough to where it's covering up. Now, sometimes when you make an image larger this way, you can see it looks all pixely, but usually that clears up when I hit the enter key or click this check mark up here. It works itself out unless it is just a really small image. Now again, the way that we can control this a little bit better, right click or double click, go to blending options, go to the darken mode. So again, you can kind of go through and see all these different options. This is the lighten screen. Now with darken, talked about with the lighten one, the lighter colors are going to show through. With darken, only the darker shades are going to show through. And I can make the opacity go up and down. So you can see here, it's only showing up in these areas that are lighter on our subject. Okay, so again, look, a lot of our photo is dark, except for here it's lighter. So the darker parts in comparison are showing up there. Interesting effect. Okay, so you can see it shows up there. Now maybe the color's throwing you off. Let's try this in black and white. So we're gonna try a couple different things. One thing, just do the whole area black and white. All right, so black and white on everything. Definitely has a different look to it, no color tone. Let's say we want the palm to show up, or we want the person to show up even more. Now remember, we got to flip it. If so, I'm using brightness and contrast. It's the darken, the darken blending mode. So that means if I turn the dark brightness down on my subject, you can see more of him. If I turn the brightness up, you see less of him. That's where it's going to be showing through a little bit more. Okay, so you can control it that way, and then I'm going to put a brightness and contrast over my palm pattern photo. And I'm going to click this button here to clip it. Remember, if you clip it, that arrow pops up and it's only affecting the one photo, the one layer below it. If I turn the brightness up, it's going to fade away because remember the darker shades are what's showing through. If I turn the darkness down, it's going to show up even more. So I kind of like it showing through a little bit more there, like that. Okay. So again, you don't have to do the black and white. You can see it does show through differently here. You could even just do black and white for one of the photos. So I'm going to drag it below my palm pattern so it doesn't affect that. So you can see the colors really show through there. Okay. Or you could reverse it and put a clipping mask on it to where it only affects the one right below it. All right. So different ways to do that. A lot of different choices. So I'm going to click over with the lighter background. Make sure you know what that looks like as well. I'm going to right click, blending options, darken. You can see it shows up a whole lot because we've got that lighter background. Okay, so making sure we're understanding how it shows up depending on what your background is. So I'm going to do a brightness and contrast for my foreground photo, or foreground for the portrait photo. If I turn the brightness up, more of the other photo is going to show through. If I turn the brightness down, it's going to start disappearing from those shadow areas. Okay, and then I can do the reverse, brightness and contrast here, clip it so it's only affecting the one. See how changing that brightness shows how much of that photo will show up as well. So play around with both of those. That is using the darken blending mode for our pattern and nature photos.